there, this is Wake Angel 2001, bringing you the next commission for Techaspike, Regina Ferrum, also known as the Iron Queen. Now, of course, well, I'd hardly say popular, but as a relatively important character from the comic book series, you know I gotta do her backstory before we actually make the toy. So let's go ahead and do that. Regina was born to a cult of technomages in Overlander territory. Overlanders, of course, being the name that they gave to humans that didn't live in Station Square in the comic book. When her cult was declared to be practicing illegal things, like they outlawed technomagic, every member of it was executed, except for Regina herself, who, because of her young age, merely faced exile into the wastelands by herself. You know, because we'll just outright kill any adults, but, you know, those 11-year-old girls, we had to be nice to them. They can go starve to death out in the middle of nowhere. That's just terrible. So she went to the Dragon Kingdom, where she used her technomagic with the Iron King to try and conquer it. She was ousted by a team-up between Monkey Khan, Sonic, and Tails, and wouldn't really feature into the comic for a long time. It wasn't until around the 200th issue that she made her return. Regina's return involved murdering the bride of the Yagyu Ninja Clan, those were the Bat Ninjas for the record, so that she could take it over, and then take over the other 4 clans, establishing the Iron Dominion, of which Monkey Khan and the Free People, those were people who lived in the territory that weren't under the control of the 4 ninja clans, setting up a resistance against her. She began a romantic relationship with Snively, and after Dr. Eggman went insane, she came to claim all of his territories, under the banner of the Iron Dominion. This also involved taking over Knothole City itself by hacking into Nicole using her Magitech. It's also worth noting that she gave Lienda. Yeah, she gave Lienda a jamming device that would prevent anyone from activating the bombs in her cybernetics, because you know the cybernetics were released to explode. But she neglected to tell her that, jamming device or no, she could use her technomagic to activate the bombs directly. Something that Lienda found out when she had half her body blown off. But what she didn't realize was that Nicole had wasn't just any kind of artificial intelligence that she could control with electromagnetic waves. She was able to set up a firewall and only pretend that she was loyal to her while Sonic and Sally went to the Free People to get support. She was defeated in Knothole City and arrested and taken back to the Dragon Kingdom, where she was imprisoned. Of course, Snively broke her out, and they tried to usurp Dr. Eggman once again, only to be defeated again. However, instead of punishing her, Dr. Eggman offered her position as one of the Dark Egg Legion bosses. She accepted this with Snively by her side. What she didn't realize was that this Snively was actually a robot duplicate. I'm not sure if she actually knew or not, but that was, just this final depressing chapter of Snively's life before the Super Genesis wave hit. Alright, so that's pretty much the last hurrah for the Iron Queen, because I think we lost her to the reboot. But, let's not dwell on that and make her toy now. Alright, so the base figure for Regina would be a Marvel Universe Elektra figure. Now, I think that Elektra's wave, or maybe Marvel Universe figures in general, are made out of a different material now, because where usually I'm unable to remove the shoulders or torso joints, I was able to pretty much completely dismantle this one. Something that makes repainting a lot easier. So with the head, I sculpted on her crown, also the top of her hair, because, Elektra wears a bandana. But I didn't really change the hairstyle, because Elektra has this really nice hair. I didn't want to mess with that sculpting with my inferior efforts, so I just painted it that dark green that Regina has. The body is pretty much just a repaint job, just the upper and lower body. And on the legs, I only had to sculpt a little bit around for her boots, as well as her arms, which just got a little bit of that foofy sleeve thing, because her costume is supposed to be evocative of a mage robe. Elektra's little loincloth thing wasn't actually attached to her hips before, but I changed that. First of all, I cut it to look less like a belt and more match along her dress line, and then I permanently attached it to her hips so that it wouldn't move around, because it makes a perfect anchoring point for her dress later on. Of course, her legs are still free to move within the confines of their dress. We'll see that in a second. First, I wanted to brag a little bit about her magic staff. Yeah, it's a wooden bead, a toothpick, some craft foam, and epoxy. This is the, her magical staff that you always see her with. It has, like, some little glowy matter inside that blue orb thing, and I thought it looked pretty cool, and it fits in her hand real nice. Let's take a look at the completed figure to show you what I'm talking about. And here is Regina Ferris. Farron. Her last name is actually a pun on iron. Because iron is a ferric metal. Haha, get it? Yeah, so the Iron Queen. She's still a Marvel Universe figure and has all the articulation you would expect a Marvel Universe figure to have. The dress is made out of red duct tape, which I painted into the pattern and attached to her hips. Of course, it's also anchored to the loincloth bits that are hanging down. That's why I don't have to worry about it sticking to her legs too bad. But yeah, we have the Iron Queen. Of course, it's kind of weird seeing a normal human being in the Sonic style, because, proportions and all. But, that's just the things you have to accept. So, with her reunited with her love Snively, I declare this figure complete. Stay tuned for my next commission, folks.